What's up, everybody? We are live once again with another Brand Doctor podcast episode. And you guys know that I love to do these episodes live on Facebook at the same time. So I'm just setting up a couple of things here to make it happen. And then we'll get started. I got a really awesome guest today. We met on Instagram. Maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, and we had some conversation, which led to getting on the show. And he's a really, really cool dude. He's got a very interesting brand, and I can't wait to kind of share it. Well, have him share it with you. And I just got to do a couple more things, and we will get rocking here. So I hope everybody's having an amazing Monday. It's been quite the weekend for me. Spent some time in the city with my in-laws and had a really awesome time. So hold on, we got one more group that we want to share this to. Get about the pat. All right, so we're ready to rock and roll. So without further ado, I want to share with you a really special guest, guy that really has been a huge fan to the Brand Doctor Instagram page. He's constantly contributing to the account, which I truly appreciate. Let's give it up for Omar Kareem. What's going on, Omar?
Hey everybody, thanks for having me.
You got it.
Great Monday.
I love it. I feel the energy. So, Omar, for those that don't know who you are and what your brand is, I want to please share with the audience how you built your brand and why you got it, why you created it in the first place.
Okay, great. It's omarkareem.com. I built the brand based off of the political landscape where I was seeing different ideas exchanged. And you see the year that we just came out of, I saw a lot of negativity with leadership, different ideals. I said, let me take my own spin to things and see who I can help with the idea of just bringing a different media, different information to entrepreneurs, business leaders, and people in college that don't know their way, and kind of set up a leadership where if somebody had any questions and they don't know what direction they want to go in the next 20 years, where we want to direct this country and the world.
Interesting. And what made you come to the conclusion that you had to do this? Like, what happened in your life where you were like, all right, I got to create this so that I can help other people?
That's a great question. Basically, I talk to a lot of youth, millennials, and they just seem confused with leadership, whether it's religious, political, and I was just started giving them advice on my own, and they loved it. So it was just a life lesson that a lot of people don't know. We may know it, but it's a lot of people out here that just don't know the basics of what I should do with my life, how to find my purpose, how to find my passion. And I just birthed the idea from there.
Interesting. So that leads me to my next question, because I guess you see a lot of people out there sort of just going through life, going through the motions, right? And they really don't have a clear vision. They don't have a clear purpose. Why? And how can we get people to sort of dial in? Because I spent years, I'm one of them, until I bumped into, graphic design. I bumped into branding 10 years ago, and now look at me. It's like completely changed my life. So, we got to get to the bottom of this. So what's your take?
My take is, it's with social media, it's a lot of different ideas, a lot of people that aren't focused. You have to dig deep and find out what your purpose in life is, what you want to dedicate your life to, and what you want to bring to humanity. And that's one of the things that I focus on trying to teach my customers, my following, and the world.
And so how does one do that? I want to go tactical here for a second. I want to like really put some meat on the bones.
Okay, the first thing, it would be to find your purpose. Everybody says that, but that's hard. You look at the things that you love to do, see what you're best at, and then chime in on those and focus. And then once you're passionate about those things, more than likely that's probably your purpose. You can't look with social media. You see a lot of people that say, "Look at what this guy's doing. Let me try to do that." I see that with a lot of people that I talk to, and everything doesn't work for everybody the same way. So you have to chime into your skill set, your passion, and then I think you'll find your purpose.
A lot of Me Too's out there.
Right. Exactly.
A lot of Me Too brands out there. Oh, he's doing that and making millions. Oh, let me see if I can do it.
Yeah.
They do no foundational work whatsoever, and next thing you know, you're out of business in 6 months, and they're like, I wonder what happened. So you help people dig deeper, right? You help people go a little bit deeper. So what are some exercises that you could kind of share with us to help us go deep inside and figure out, all right, now that I have my purpose, how do I take action on it? What do I do next?
Meditation, visualization, goal setting, writing down your goals. And like, these are things that people have heard thousands of times, but only the successful people do these things with the discipline and try to leaving the noise alone. I had to do that. So
how'd you do it? And what was the noise that was interfering with your life?
One thing was just looking at other people's success stories and wondering, well, why haven't I become as successful as these people? And once I chimed in and kind of put blinders on and focused on what I wanted to do, that's when I saw the lift. Yeah.
And how hard was that for you to do?
It was very hard at first, but once I became disciplined and passionate about what I wanted to see my life go in, the direction I wanted to see my life go in, and the people I wanted to help around me, that kind of gave me the purpose and the energy on those days when I say, I don't really feel like doing this, or maybe I want to watch TV or this. I always had that mission in front of me of the people that I want to help, so that helped me push forward.
Got it. And how did you build that discipline?
One of the great things for me was prayer and meditation and vision boards. Those are the three major things for me.
Interesting. And so now that you have this vision and you have this focus, you have the Omar Kareem brand now, what is the biggest pet peeve out in your industry right now that you just want to say, enough is enough? I need to make a difference here.
The main pet peeve I see is, like you said, the Me Too. It's a lack of creativity. It's more like, let me see what this person is doing and try to take that and put a spin on it. There's no originality. So I want to be as original as I can be, and I try to teach people to do the same thing.
And so with that said, how do you get somebody to change that mindset? Because a lot of people are impatient. They're extremely impatient. Like, people want to wake up and have 6 figures in their bank account. They want to wake up and have a massive following. They want to wake up and, be the best thing since sliced bread. And that's why, in my opinion, they try to go for this get-rich-quick stuff, or they get extremely impatient and they try to just, shortcut everything and hack everything.
Yeah.
How do you get somebody to change their mindset like that?
Well, the first thing I tell somebody, don't look at someone's chapter 12 and you're on chapter 1. You got to trust the process. You have to go through those processes. I mean, you look at any successful person. We start with Tom Brady, 6th-round draft pick. He basically created himself. Nobody believed in him, but that was a process. He didn't just show up one day and it was Tom Brady. He was ready for opportunity when it presented itself. And I tell people to just stay focused on that. And you have to realize it's going to take time.
You know, it's so funny. The Grammys were on last night. Did you catch the Grammys by any chance?
No, I was getting ready for this. Preparation.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Always come prepared. A man comes prepared. I love it. So I'm watching the Grammys last night, and I'm a big fan of Bruno Mars. I'm a huge fan of Bruno Mars.
Oh, yeah.
My wife and I saw him in August. You know, for our anniversary, I got like second row seats. I mean, I had to be up close and personal with this dude because he is one hell of an entertainer. I think the dude cleaned up yesterday. From what I saw, he had like 4 or 5 Grammys yesterday, right? Best song overall, though. I mean, completely crushed it. And I'm saying to myself, how the hell? And Bruno Mars, he has like a beautiful story. Like he was playing in coffee shops like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
But it was so funny when he performed with Cardi B.
Uh-huh.
I even posted it on my Facebook. I said, look at Bruno's stage presence. Look at his stage presence, the way he controls the stage. He walks around and dances around that stage like he owns it.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nobody taking that stage from him, right? And it was so funny. So as I'm watching Instagram, I'm scrolling through, as I'm watching the Grammys, I'm scrolling through my Instagram, and I follow this guy called The Fat Jewish. I don't know if you ever followed his account. He's got like...
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah, like 10 million followers. He's funny as hell. All the celebrities follow him. He's funny as hell. Well, he has this picture, and it's a picture of Bruno Mars in the background, completely starstruck over David Wentz. And if you don't know who David Wentz is, he played in that rock band, forget what the hell it was called. Maybe somebody in the audience can help me out here. But David Wentz is another musician, very, very popular. And in 2008, he had walked by Bruno Mars, and Bruno Mars was like, oh my God, it's David Wentz. And now look at Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Now Bruno Mars.
Example, right?
Right? And so you have to start somewhere. Like if I were to show you my designs from 2007, you'd be like, how are you still in business? and it just goes to show that you got to start somewhere. I have Nigel Massey here on our Facebook live says there's a process to progress, a long road to success. I'm a huge fan of that. She also says focus on what you can do and not focus on what you can't do. And I think that is so important because it's real easy to put self-doubt in our mind. You know what? I'll never be a millionaire. I might as well just get that 9-to-5, call it a day. It's safe. It's easy. And next thing you know, you're 90 years old and you're like, now I can't do what I wanted to do because it's done, you know? So, you know, a lot of it has to do with regret. And so my question to you is like, how do you deal with it? How do you kill regret?
You gotta have those goals in your mind. You gotta have the goals in your mind. And then one thing I forgot to mention is who you surround yourself with. That was one of the major keys for me. Who you surround yourself with, from the mentors to your friends, and make sure everybody's going in that same direction. Just like you said, Bruno Mars. When he saw the gentleman's name, what's his name? David Wentz.
Yeah, David Wentz.
Yeah, he knew he wanted to be where that guy was, and now he is. So
yeah,
he knew where he was going.
That picture alone was so humbling. Like it just reminded me, like my journey. and like where I started and now to where it's at today. And it's just like you have to start somewhere. So anyway, offline, you were talking to me about how you dig a little bit deeper into news. So you go and you look at the trending topics and you dive in a little bit deeper when it comes to the news, and then you take that information and what do you do with it? You know, how do you serve that information to your target audience?
Well, once I collect different news articles and different information, I put it in a collage and let people read it and see it. If you look, a lot of people really don't pay attention to the news. I don't know the exact stats, but it's amazing. That's something maybe I need to find out the exact stats of the news. But I do a lot of international stories that you would never see on CNN or the mainstream media. And I put that out to my audience.
Aha. And then from there, what's the next step you take them? Like, I just want to get the audience to understand like what your process is, what your marketing funnel is all about, and like eventually just drive people to you. Obviously, you know, that's the whole point of being on this podcast. I want to get you some exposure, and I want to get you some media. So talk to me about the steps, the process. Where do you take them?
Well, it's just like I did an event on Native Americans about 3 months ago. I went to an actual TP and saw the event in Virginia. And a lot of people have no idea of the historical effects of the Native Americans in this country. And I have the footage on my website. It was a great event. I actually talked to people. They served in the military. A lot of them were veterans. And it was just so much knowledge. And I put that together along with them doing their traditional dances and everything and put that on the website. And I allowed people to give me their feedback. And a lot of people were amazed at the information. They said they never heard of it. And this is American history. Yeah.
And this is American history.
Yeah.
So they take the information and then like what? Because I'm a little confused right now. I'm not gonna lie. And I hate I'm not putting you on the spot. You're my boy. You're my boy. But I'm a little confused. Like I'm trying to figure out, and Nigel's helping me on Facebook right now. We're trying to peel back the onion. I want to get to where you actually monetize this, because right now I hear you just curating information, but I don't know what that information is doing for me to pull out my credit card and say, I gotta buy from this guy.
Okay. Well, what happened? We're going into literature and the podcast. That's the next phase. All of that that's the next phase.
Okay, so how are you making money with this? That's what I want to know.
Well, my feed, when I drive people in, I'm going to start to develop the podcast to where people get their information. We have books and literature for them and do speaking engagement.
Aha, so they're booking you to speak now.
Yeah.
Got it. And so when you get up and speak, what are you speaking of?
When I speak, I'm going to be speaking to the youth, basically, the millennials, and giving these information and giving them the historical aspect. And it goes back to what I was saying at first. If they don't have the information of this history, they can then put that to where they want to go and see what they're passionate about. But it comes back to the history of everything.
Got it. So you create this sort of platform where people can basically understand history better.
Exactly.
And then figure out where that aligns with them internally. And then that helps them create their purpose, create their mission, create whatever future that they have or are looking to create for themselves.
Right.
Interesting. So it's like a leadership / mentorship program. If I'm
Exactly, that's perfect. Yeah.
got it. Okay, so that makes sense because we all need that. Now, here's another tough question for you.
Okay.
There's a gazillion of you guys out there. What makes Omar Kareem different from everybody else that is taking news, repurposing it, and creating these mentorships and leadership programs out of them?
What makes me different is I dig deeper than, I guess you said, the gazillion of those guys. And like you said, how do I monetize it? Most people look at the monetize and they're going away from the purpose. I'm going to get the people to tap into their purpose, and then the money will follow that. Once they tap into the purpose, the money will follow that. Most people they go the other way around. They're looking for the money without the purpose. So they're not passionate about what they're doing.
That's it. Because I mean they're money driven. They have other agendas, I guess, is the word that's coming to me, versus genuinely trying to help someone.
Exactly.
Got it.
And we have enough of that. Like you said, what is my pet peeve? Like you said, we have enough of those people already.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of, all right, this is what Omar does. This is how he's impacting people. This is how he's taking his brand to the next level. And so, because it's so important that we as the entrepreneur have a clear vision on what it is that we want to do.
Right.
What it is that what do we want to serve our audience with that will help them do XYZ? You know, because 9 times out of 10, Omar, believe me when I tell you this, 99% of the people out there don't think that they have a problem.
Right.
Me? I need a new brand? Nah. I got my logo done back in 2007. I'm good. I built my website 2 years ago. I'm good. Are you?
Right.
You know, are you keeping up on the latest trends? Because the last time I checked your Instagram feed, you were crying that nobody was paying attention to you.
Exactly.
So,
or they had 100 different statements that everybody, that's the other thing about Instagram. Everybody keeps reposting these quotes and everything that
right.
1,000 other people have used, and then they wonder why they're not getting any traction.
Right. You know, it's cool if something resonates with you and you want to repost it and kind of shout that person out for hitting home. You know, I get that. But if that's all you're doing, you're another Me Too brand. Nobody cares. Nobody listens. You're nothing special.
Right.
And so that's what I'm trying to figure out here is what makes Omar special? What makes him different? You know, like anybody could go into history and dig deep. You know, so it's like, have you ever shared your backstory before? Like how you actually built this business from the ground up, from a thought?
Have I shared that before? Yeah. Every time I do speaking engagements, I try to share that.
So share it with me today.
Okay.
How did it all start? Take me from day one.
Day one Omar or day one the website?
Well, day one, what happened? What happened? Because I was a little unclear of that in the beginning. Like, you probably had a 9 to 5, and what happened?
Well, what happened is 2016, looking at the presidential situation that was going on and the uproar of different political parties and the rhetoric. And I said, this is not going to be healthy for the direction that our country is going in. And that's when I came up with the idea that it has to be an alternative where you could bring people together with good information, good content, without all of this division. That's what sparked the idea.
Got it. So you see a huge split in politics, in society.
Society, politics, religion.
So, and this is a deep division.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so you said to yourself, I need to bring people together. It's not about dividing, it's about togetherness. And so that's what inspired the business.
Absolutely.
Got it. So this business is young. You said last year, so
yeah, this is young. This is young.
Got it.
Very young. Yeah.
Got it. So how are you generating business?
Well, I'm generating business through word of mouth, my circle of influence, social media. As you see on my page, I know different individuals. I try to surround myself with a lot of positive people.
Yeah.
And once the podcast is all the way launched, it's going to go even to higher heights. And that's how I ended up connecting with you.
Got it. So you were listening to the podcast?
Absolutely.
Aha. Okay. Well, I appreciate you listening, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I always. Yeah.
That's what's up. So, okay, so you're creating a podcast. That's going to be your platform to get your word out.
Right.
And then from there, you will level them up into mentorship and coaching, and you will do public speaking. Got it. Okay, cool. So listen, how do people find out more about Omar Kareem?
Well, you can find me at Omar Kareem on Instagram. Twitter is The Real Omar Ki. And I'm on Facebook as well, Omar Kareem.
And you spell your last name a little funky, so let them.
Just gonna say, Omar Kareem is Karriem.
Got it. Sweet. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, I wanted to make sure I don't forget that. I want to talk a little bit about bridging this gap.
Yeah.
Bridging this gap and figuring out how do we influence millennials in 2018 to help them be influential themselves one day. Because it sounds to me you have this mentorship background or passion. You have this passion for leadership and to create leaders. And so talk to us about that.
Well, the first thing you have to do when you're talking to these guys, the millennials, or I don't know what they're calling the group after them that are still in high school now, one of the major things I see is the focus and purpose, once again. But what's going on is the divide now between economics, socially. You have to bring all of these guys back on the same page and realize that we're all in the same situation. We're all in the same situation, bring some unity, and then give them a purpose to be leaders amongst their peers, and then lead themselves in whatever endeavor they want to go into, whether it's entrepreneurship, if they want to be a doctor, these different things. Because right now they're just losing. They're losing a lot of focus.
And we live in such a fast-paced world. Right. It's hard. It's easy to get that squirrel syndrome where you're, the next shiny best thing that comes out, boom, we're on top of it, or this guy's doing this now, so I got to go do this. So it's easy to fall into that trap. It really is. And it looks like to me, I'm starting to hear this too a little bit more, like we went through traditional college. Like we went through a traditional 4-year education after high school, and we got our degree. We went out and grinded it out, and it either worked for us or it didn't. And then we went into entrepreneurship, and it's where a lot of these folks. But nowadays, it's like they're starting to look at college and they're like, Is it necessary? Like, would I be better off if I just got in there and started working or started building my business like now versus like trying to get all that education and debt accumulation? Because I looked at the college that I went to. It was a small school in Pennsylvania, right? I looked at the college tuition now, and it's like 10x since I've been there. And it's not getting any cheaper. So getting these folks focused, creating this network, right? So I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second because I love doing that. I'm a little hyped up today. Can you tell?
Yeah. That's good.
Right? Omar. Millennials like to listen to millennials. Why? Because there's a connection there, right? They're the same age, right? And if you're not connecting, so let's play devil's advocate for a second and say that they look at Omar and they say, he's old. What does he know? He's not a millennial. Why should I listen to him? Right?
I don't get a lot of that, though.
You don't.
That's what I'm telling you. When you said there's something special, they listen to me. I think it depends on how you come across to them. Like a lot of people, when they talk about it, they come in like preachy or teachy. You have to kind of, it's a delivery with them.
So
if
let's
they
go in.
Feel like
let's
you
go
really
into
care about them. There you go.
That's what I wanted to get out of you.
Yeah.
It took me 26 minutes, but that's what I wanted to get out of you. So you go down to their level. Not that you're going down. I shouldn't say the word, but you're connecting with them at their level. You're not being condescending. You have this sense of relevancy, and you show a true caring for them,
Right.
which then gains their trust.
Right.
And then allows you to go in and say, here's how I can help you. Here's what we're going to do so that you don't go through 4 years of college, high school, whatever, and be lost.
Right.
You know what I mean? And next thing you know, you're 35 years old and you don't even know what the hell you want to do with your life. And you're still living in your parents' basement. So that's the key to this conversation is when you dig deep, right? And you help people understand what it is that they truly want out of their life.
Yeah.
I think that's where you start to unfold things. And that's where you start to build that true connection.
Once they feel that you actually care.
Right.
When they get the connection of that you care, they open up, and it's an amazing thing.
And so with the little time that we have left, I mean, we could probably do a whole show on this, but what are some of the things that you do? Because I'm sure there's other people listening or watching right now that may have a target demographic of millennials, maybe in a different niche or a different vertical, but what are some of the things that you do to help show them that you care?
Well, I listen first and foremost. That's the first thing you have to do is listen. And to go back to your point, I'll use this example. You said the age factor, and if they would say they're old, but look at the people that were supporting Bernie Sanders.
Just fix it, sir.
See? Do you see that? You get my point? They
Kind of young bucks.
resonated with Bernie Sanders.
And why do you think they did?
Because he cared. I'm not going to get into politics, but they felt as though he cared. And he was speaking to their need. And once people see that you're speaking to their need, then that's when their ears open up.
Chantel Johnson says you can actually listen people into existence.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah.
I like that. Chantel, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for putting that comment in there because that makes so much sense. Chantel, that might be the title of this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie. That is so good. So you're listening people into existence. So just being that soundboard allows them to really connect with themselves and you. So it's a win-win. It's funny. I had a coaching call today. I gotta share this with you. I had a coaching call today with one of my coaches. I have a couple coaches in my inner circle, and we were talking about lead generation. And he was talking about, he's like, so, you know, how you generating leads? I says, well, you know, I'm a content crazy, and I like to just put out a bunch of, like, tons of content. He says, yeah, I get that, but, like, what's it doing for? Are you making money with, like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
He broke this down into such a basic strategy. He said, think about when you first met your wife. He said, what were the things that you talked about that day? And I remember that day like it was yesterday. It was 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. I remember walking into that lounge and her standing there with her friend and who I know. And I remember getting introduced to her, and it was just basic conversation. Where you're from? Where did you go to school? What kind of, you know, where do you work? You know, basic relationship building questions. It's simple. It's rapport, right? It's the first level of any sort of selling or any sort of communication or connection. Rapport. You got to build rapport. And it never dawned on me that I historically, believe it or not, guys, as outgoing as I am, historically, I wasn't that great at asking those fundamental questions, the basic questions, the tell me a little bit about yourself. And it just hit me today. Like, that's what I need to start doing on social media more. That's what I need to start doing inside of my business. Because that's what starts the conversation. If you just talk about yourself all day long, my wife makes fun of me all the time about this because I had a tendency to do this. But that's what changes everything. And I think if you let them listen, you listen to them, they feel heard. And I think when they feel heard, they're saying to themselves, who cares?
Absolutely.
I love it.
Basic conversation.
I love it. So why are all of us making it so complicated in business? We all should have 1,000 leads coming in a day. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the lesson. I think that's the lesson in today's conversation. It's to show them how much you care. Listen. Dig deeper. Because the surface level shit is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not really where everybody. It's not where the magic happens. It's not. And start showing people how much you care. And that will bring you raving fans, a huge audience, and it'll make you special. Right? So, Omar, I can't thank you enough for constantly engaging with myself and my audience on Instagram, and I appreciate you taking the time today to share your insight and share your story on how you built the Omar Kareem brand and how you're trying to make a difference and impact on our youth.
I appreciate you.
I think
Let's change the next generation.
Yeah, I think that's your motto. If there's a one-liner, let's change the next generation. You better write that down. I see you writing it down.
Yeah, I'm writing it down.
Yeah. See what comes out of conversation. See what comes out of simple conversation.
That's why you're the doctor.
And on that note, guys, we are going to round out this episode of the Brand Doctor Podcast. Again, big shout out to Omar Kareem. real quick, I want to just tidy up some of the housekeeping stuff that I typically do. If you haven't joined the Brand Doctor Hangout yet, the Brand Doctors Hangout yet on Facebook, it's a private Facebook group. Just go to the search query, type in the Brand Doctors Hangout. Come hang out with us. We have a tremendous, tight circle of entrepreneurs that are all trying to help each other take their brands to the next level and help each other out. And if you haven't shared this podcast yet with a friend or a colleague, please, I ask that you share it. I thank you in advance for it. I'm going to keep bringing the heat every single episode. Thanks again, all of you guys, for watching, listening. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care, guys.